Metal DevOps with Thom Hazaert and David Ellefson from Megadeth. About quite a few things. All the stuff that's going on. We got the new book.
Yep.
We've got the new album coming out, Sleeping Giants, which are now out.
It's actually out.
It's out now since we talked.
Close the book.
Tonight is a show called Bass Story here in Rockford, Illinois at Whiskey's Roadhouse, and it's going to be awesome.
Why are we always at restaurants?
I don't know, because we're going to have we're not in Wisconsin anymore, so we can't do the Wisconsin salad bar like we did last time. Deep fried pickles and everything else deep fried. But here we are, and we're actually going to bring back a conversation that me and Thom had about this. This is very important.
And you may recall I said, ask Dave, take that and ask David about it.
Now I have David here to complete the conversation about why this is so important. Can you elaborate on
where in the hell is Megadeth, Arizona?
Yeah, you know.
I
exactly.
remember that was the marketing on
Yeah.
this, right? Where in the hell is Megadeth, Arizona? This was so the Megadeth Arizona websites. Actually, it was Hollywood and Vine. I forgot how they built
Hollywood
it.
Hollywood and Vine was Capital.
It was Capital, yeah, that was theirs, and then there was sort of a sub-layer of that. So, Megadeth, this was the very first band website ever on the World Wide Web.
That's such an old school sentence on the World Wide Web.
The World Wide Web, and I say that because here's the backstory to it. So they came out, Capitol Records came out to Phoenix, where we were recording the Euthanasia album in 1994, and it was I think it was a new regime of new what happens in these labels is top down, new Brunswick's work. So Hale Milgram was the president during during Countdown to Extinction, and he had formerly been at Elektra Records during the big years, of course, of Motley Crue, Metallica. And then he'd come over to Capitol, which is good because he knew how to run record labels, and he knew rock records. He really knew them well. And the Countdown to Extinction, obviously, very well. We shipped 1 million records. We were platinum. That's when they would certify you on what you shipped, not on what you sound scan.
Oh, right, okay.
So you would ship 1 million platinum, and even if 900,000 of them came back, you were still basically platinum.
Awesome.
It was an awesome day. And then SoundScan came in and ruined all the fun for everybody. Made it legit. But it was so. Then a new regime came in for Euthanasia. And we were kind of the redheaded stepchild at Capitol Records because we had gotten signs. Our original regime had been swept over a couple of times. And I'm sure they would probably do their, Monday morning, boardroom meetings, and they'd probably run Duran Duran, Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, Megadeth. Did you sign them? Who signed these guys?
What does that even mean?
Did they make us money? They did. All right, we'll keep them. All right, well, next, and Poison, and they'd, I'm sure, go down the roster. But to that, the good news with that is they kind of let us do what we wanted, is creatively with our own music and with our own, obviously our album covers were quite, quite graphic based, so they let us really do our own thing. But in the kind of the big days of certainly Countdown to Extinction and Euthanasia, Countdown was very big. We sold a couple million albums just domestically, probably another million around the world. So it was big. They all made money, so we were in a position to invest. They wanted to invest big into the Euthanasia album, and part of that was this new thing called the World Wide Web. And they came out to talk to us specifically about it. We want to do something on the World Wide Web, and we're like, well, what is it? And they're like, well, we're not really sure yet, but we think it's going to be big. And so they created the very first band website ever called Megadeth Arizona, and it was pages deep. Now if there's a landing page and you have to click once to get into the site, people already lose interest and move on. Right?
That's true.
I remember in our websites, we got rid of landing pages years ago. Every click is a precious moment of someone's attention, and on the web. And so this thing, we launched it with the record. I remember they had the labels would spend exorbitant amounts of money to host these big record release parties. We did one in London, we did one in Hollywood, and I remember I was up in the Hollywood Hills, and I remember specifically because they had this big buffet like this table, and in the middle of it there was a piece of like a head of lettuce, but it was a guy's head, and he was in there, and as you reached over to like grab some dip or something, the guy's head would go, "How you doing?" Right? It'd freak everyone out, right? And it was on Halloween so it'd be October 1994, and so I remember they brought us into the party, and they brought me in particular. They said, "Hey, David, come back here and chat on the World Wide Web on Megadeth Arizona. Chat with some fans." And I remember talking specifically to a fan in Sweden, and it seemed very archaic. Like you type, and I can type, fortunately, pretty good. I took typing classes, typing and driving classes, were 2 classes I did very well in high school. And so I typed and, "Hi, how are you?" You know, and you sit, you wait. And then they tell you, "Oh my God, is this you?" "Yes, this is me. How are you?"
Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove that this is you.
"Oh my God, is it you?" You know, one of those. And just, "We're at the party. I'm going to go. Goodbye." You know, send, you know, and they go off into the party. And I was just like, this is lame. Like, this is so, like, why don't we just talk? You know what I mean? Like this, right?
Oh,
right?
God.
And of course, now texting and everything is like, you know, a conversation on the phone is like a long-term relationship. Right? A text is, "Yo, sure, see you, bye," you know, TTYS, whatever, you know. And but this is where it started. And of course, after that, every band started to get a website. And some kids up in the, up in the Bay Area had actually registered Megadeth.com.
Oh, wow.
And we fortunately were able to buy it from them. I forgot how much it was. It wasn't very, like $5,000 or $5,000 or something. It was not much because it might have even been $100. It was not much money. This is right around the time when people were squatting, you know, buying Chevrolet.com and squatting on it.
Oh yeah.
You know, hoping to get the big payout from companies who, you know, had to then buy their .com from people, their name. And so we got that. David actually formed a web hosting company, I think, called Troika, and that's what that all sat on when we had Megadeth.com and for the Cryptic Writings album and the Risk, and then we really built it out, and to have chat rooms and things that were proprietary. We owned it, and proprietary, and so it was our own. Of course, we still have Megadeth.com, and you know, we've got like, what, I don't know, 8-9 million, you know, users or something.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, it's big. Well, I guess that might be a Facebook number, but we gravitated to this immediately, you know, and as a result, had probably one of the early adapters of the World Wide Web,
which is insane. So here I work at Cisco. It's the biggest networking company in the world, and all I do is run networks and design networks and teach people about this technology. And we're talking about something that I remember doing when I was 13 or 14 years old. And now here everything resides, you know, on our phones and our watches, and everything is all connectivity, right?
And even this thing here, this is called a floppy disk, which was not floppy.
Inch,
Remember, there really was a floppy disk, right?
It was like this. It was like this.
And you pop it in. This is a hard
floppy disk.
Hard floppy disk. Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is, you had mentioned that you were at a conference talking about how important it is to make sure that you have branding related around webs. Related around your domain name and all that other stuff, and kind of protecting that form of, really it is branding of your craft.
Well, now it was NamesCon over in Las Vegas. And basically, they hired me to tell you basically them the same story that I just told you.
Which I appreciate that he did it for free.
For free, yeah. They paid me a lot more than you're paying me.
Yes.
And so,
thank you for that.
You can buy the burgers.
I'm buying burgers.
But it was interesting because over there, you know, there's .com, .net, .org, .biz, .tv, .music, .radio. I think there's all these sort of, you know, whatever, and that's when I realized most of those they'll never catch.
You're not going to take
They're
off.
never going to take off. I mean, .com is the classic. I mean, usually when we get names, we'll do a .com, maybe a .net. But you know, because it's brand, it's familiar, and that's where everybody goes.
It's like metaldevops.com. So the funny thing is, we're sitting here. We started talking about a book 3 weeks ago, and this tour, which I saw last night again, which is fantastic. So tell us about how you guys got together and decided to do the second book, because this is the second book. It's
I'll let him
more
talk.
like
I need it.
So we met a couple of years ago. It's in the book. I shouldn't even tell you. I shouldn't say you got to
You
go
should
read
guys
the book.
guys buy the book. Right?
Yeah, but no. So me and Dave, well, we met a long time ago when Dave worked at PV, and then we kind of reconnected 4 or 5 years ago when I was doing special features for the Blu-ray re-release of Shocker, and I directed and produced a little documentary about the soundtrack and interviewed David with some other people, Bruce Kulick and Jason McMaster and Desmond Child and a bunch of other guys that worked on the soundtrack. And through that, Dave was like, "Oh, I'm managing this band. What are you doing?" "I'm managing bands." And he's like, we started talking about Dollskin and other things he wanted to do and producing, and I hooked him up with some of my bands, and EMP started, and here we are.
Yeah, so EMP,
EMP, Combat Coffee.
Combat Records, Ellefson Coffee Company, and I'm still working on getting one of these rings here. If you got to look at this ring, that is a cool ring. Combat Records ring. I'm getting one of those somehow. But so tonight's the show. It's going to be great. There's a lot of really cool bands. People playing with you as well. Who come from a band called Dead by Wednesday. Wrath was here yesterday at the show.
And the guitar player for Hatch. It plays for us.
Yeah. We basically put our own label people on the bill.
Yeah.
We have them in our band with us as well, because it's nice to throw the work to our in-house. It's very much like Motown did, like it's just kind of this mind. Victory Records, was remember when we were starting this, Thom he used that as a model of like, look, it's very in-house. You've got the magazine. You've got merchandising, and it's an in-house thing because we want to feed the work and the love to drive everybody. Again, we talked about the web.
Yeah,
the World Wide Web. Drive all of it to that, and that's really what we did. Is we kind of started as a little cottage industry and quickly turned into a full house, if you will, and keeping everything driving toward each other. It feeds to the benefit of the artists on the label.
And now you see why we're so tired.
Yeah.
On the road constantly. We've been touring for the last 3 weeks for Sleeping Giants. It's available on iTunes if you haven't got it yet. I have it. It's fantastic. Hammer Comes Down is, one of my favorites. Vultures, Sleeping Giants are all great. So I want to thank you guys for being with me. I want to keep this short because we've been keeping these guys awake for quite a long time.
We are sleeping giants, right?
They are sleeping giants, literally.
I definitely am.
Giants are sleeping, yeah.
So
I'm good now. I've been drinking my soda, so I'm good.
Thanks again, and hopefully we'll continue this, and we'll have some more episodes at some point on more things. But again, closing the loop on why this was so important to technology and metal.
Well, see, he failed though. He was supposed to take that disc home.
Yes.
And take it and hook it up to a computer because he has old Mac emulators.
Do you have an old Mac that could read that?
I do.
He
I
does.
had that disc at
He
home.
does.
think
I
you
sent
gave
him
me
home.
one.
Yeah.
I got to get the emulator out and break into this.
Yeah, to
and
see what's on it.
going
You know what? So bust that. Do this for us then.
Yeah.
Close with this. Go home and
Your mission
open
should you
that
choose
up
to accept.
and
I accept.
screenshot some of this stuff and send it over to us or post it or whatever.
Yeah. Post it in the video.
Most people would never ever
Have the means to
see
even
this.
be
And I
able to-
realize this as I tell stories on stage that most of the people weren't even born yet when I'm telling these stories. Back in the day there was a tour with Ronald James Dio.
Ronald.
There's another, you know what I mean? So I tell these stories, and I look in the audience, and I'm like, never mind. None of you.
Like he's a hologram now. Come on. No.
Well, like we were in Green Bay yesterday, which is Tom's hometown, and we were. I think both of us were like I guess Megadeth never played here, and a fan was in the Barnes & Noble book signing, and he goes, "Oh man, it was February 1988 with Ronnie Dio." I was like, "Wow, okay."
1988.
And I was pissed because I missed it.
And he didn't,
I
but
didn't
he
even
said
know.
he was 12, and I said, dude, that's no excuse.
Yeah.
In utero. My son was in utero when we took Korn out on tour on Euthanasia.
Yeah.
And my wife was pregnant with him, and she loved Korn because she liked.
Well, my mom wasn't in Megadeth, all right?
Well,
my mom didn't even like Megadeth.
Julie would waddle out, like 9 months pregnant, waddle out to hear Korn, and he'd be kicking like, "Stop, make it stop,"
Jonathan Dixon.
Yeah, she'd play Eddie and he'd chill out, play Korn and he'd be kicking,
Oh,
So,
It's like, oh, you rat.
exactly. So again, you know,
Calm down, Roman.
it's like it's no excuse. You know, even if you were not yet even a twinkle in someone else's eye, there's no reason why
You should have been at the Megadeth Geo show.
It is universal language for sure.
It is. It is.
Man. Well, thank you all for joining us.
No,
Thank
DOS
you,
is the universal language.
DOS, yes, and this is the Mac version of the disc.
That is the
somewhere,
Mac version.
Somewhere there's a DOS version of that.
So
too.
that'll be nice and colorful.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you snapshot some stuff.
Yeah,
Let's
look,
see if I can
look,
get that emulated.
and
Look
Mac,
at that.
fucking Macintosh.
Macintosh.
Yeah,
prior
not
to
even Mac.
Mac.
Yeah, where's my Mac?
Where's-
the Macintosh?
Here's my iPhone or my iPad.
I said, here's
As obsolete as the disc itself.
I remember when our school, the little Riverside Elementary in Jackson, Minnesota, I remember when they sprung for the Macintosh computer. Actually, it was the Apple. I think it was an Apple
The
II.
Apple II,
Apple II,
yeah.
which was what, post Lisa? Was the Lisa the person? So the Apple II. It was big. It was on a cart, and it had a cradle, so you put the phone on it,
Oh, yeah.
and then you dial in, and you
It
had
was
to
like,
sign up.
full-on war games.
Yes.
Yeah, you had to sign up to be on it, and it was like $10,000.
Oh
like,
my
you
gosh.
touch the computer.
Kids are not allowed to even
People
hear it.
drink, do not touch the computer. It resided in the library. And it was like it was like being in a hospital.
Yeah.
Like a surgeon would move the
Oh my
the
gosh.
Apple II around, right? And I remember you'd dial in, and it would take like a half hour to get online, right? And I guess that technically was the World Wide Web that they were logging into because it was all tied into universities and schools.
Well, that was a lot of BBSs, and I remember like when I first started using the internet, it was BBSs, and that was literally like the beginnings of the internet was BBSs and message boards of
See where
BBSs.
this is going. Like one day we're going to be old and crotchety, like 80 years old, and come, I remember when they brought the Apple II in.
Yeah, remember that? To play Oregon Trail. Which goes back to when we
Big
got
story in
But think of it-
2050.
But David had an AOL email address until last year.
Yeah, I still have it.
I just made fun of him relentlessly until he stopped using it.
You know what I realized?
Dude, you know what's so funny? I heard on
So
JGL when we weren't there. I was like, God, I was listening. I wish I would have been there for these conversations. She was talking about how every old person has a yahoo.com email. And God, I wish I would have been there for that conversation. That's not true. Every older rock star has an AOL email address still.
In fact, you know what? When I see people who have an AOL, and I won't tell them on the camera who they are, but some dear friends of mine and ours, they have AOL. And to me, that shows a seasoned, veteran, iconic rock star. Because, and even some tour managers and various people, I'm like, these people have been around. These people have actually, counted real money. It's not Venmo.
Yeah.
It's not PayPal.
It's not
like
Bitcoin.
real cash.
Hell's Bitcoin
Right? Yeah,
anyway.
right. You know, exactly. Right. These people have been around. These are analog dudes,
It shows me that they do not know how to update their email address. But no, you get used to that interface. And I remember you. I think that was your thing. Is you were used to the interface and you really liked it, and then it changed your.
I remember when I first got Dave got a Mac back in
I built my entire career on AOL, for the record.
Dave got a Mac in like late 90 or early 91, and then I went and I bought a Macintosh LC, which is expensive, like $4,000, which is quite expensive. And then we in Megadeth we bought the first Apple laptops, and they were like $5,000.
And they probably weighed
A lot
like
of money.
90
They were very
pounds.
expensive.
Like
Yeah,
this
90 pounds, very slow. But they had the AOL would send you. It was kind of lame, but they'd send you this thing, and it was kind of like this. It was the entire World Wide Web,
Yeah, they'd send you
email,
the whole
web
AOL
browser,
disk.
and you put it in. And so I remember, like particularly, I'd go to Japan, and you pop your floppy disk in, plug in your 56K modem into the phone line at like the Roppongi Prince Hotel. And the thing is it would give you like 8 dial-up options that you could get
Local,
online.
try to grab a local one.
Yeah.
If it's busy, you roll to the next
Yeah,
one.
it's just gone. I remember that. I remember traveling.
Yeah.
You know, my first modem was 9600 baud.
Oh my gosh.
And then I bumped up to a 14.4.
Yep.
And I remember a blazing 36.6.
36.6, 24.4, 36.6, 56K.
I just remember.
Yeah, and this stuff
Terrible
moved
everything was
just
then.
so quick. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah, I mean, it was so quick. I mean, trying to look at porn, it would take 45 minutes to load one photo. It's like, I think I see a nipple. It's like watching the scrambled porn on cable when you're trying to go in between the channels. That was basically the internet.
And the funny thing is, like, I remember because I used to call them Microsoft minutes because you're waiting for the blue line to go across where you're installing something, and it just takes forever. And it's like 5 minutes, 284 minutes, 17 light years. I'm like, what the heck? You know, it just didn't make sense, and it was all over the place. And that's where I lost my hair. I was waiting for the little blue line to go across.
These guys are making it sound really old. I'm trying to stay youthful and hip and in the moment here, but it's like.
Yeah, youthful and hip in the moment.
I know, I'm older than all you guys.
He's trying to sound youthful and hip and in the moment, talking about his AOL email address.
I used to keep it on the bus. I remember like Sean Grover. I'd go, wait for it, and he'd go, dude, he'd write it, and he'd go, you've got mail, right? And they'd go,
that was my favorite sound in the world.
You've got mail. They finally stopped doing that, right?
And then the whole,
like last year, they stopped doing that.
The whole sad thing of spam came out. And then you're like, you got mail, and you weren't excited anymore. You're like,
do you still remember your AIM screen names?
Oh my gosh, I do. It was OVRKL65, Overkill 65.
Wow. Mine, I can't remember. I remember with this, I had an email called Sunny Day, SONNYDAY, because I've moved to Arizona and it's a sunny day. But I didn't want to be sunny there, so I was Sunny Day. And I remember in Metal Edge magazine, they published it. I had fans in South America who said, they go, we used to write to you on that email.
I loved that thing when they put the email addresses in there.
And they're like, we never thought it was you. I said, no, it was really, I would actually check it. I would actually check those emails from time to time.
That's awesome.
You know, Dave, when I remember the first time we went to South America, when we launched Euthanasia was in South America. And at the Sheraton Hotel in Buenos Aires, we called the janitor guy to come up and basically rip the phone line apart so we could hook our Mac laptops up and just tried to go online and check email and chat with the fans. Like we were really into it, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we would.
You know, it's funny though. That was when I started my branding, because I remember when my AIM, AOL became AIM, but became Thom Hazaert, and then Thom effing Hazaert. And that's still the shit I use today, like 25 years later.
He's making fun of me for AOL.
AIM, those were the industry standards then, and then I moved on to what was next. I'm 30 email addresses removed from AOL. I had 10 Hotmail addresses and Yahoo and Gmail
and all that. Yeah.
Now I'm strictly pretty much Gmail, like him and everybody else.
Everybody's Gmail.
Yeah, she's come around now. Now it's.
Yeah. It works.
Send me some to AOL. I said, don't you ever send anything to me to AOL, because I never check it.
Yes.
I don't know. It was actually important, and they sent it to me. I'm like, what are you doing? Send everything to the other one. Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Thank you guys, seriously. Metal DevOps signing off. We will see you at the next episode, and I might do some live streaming tonight from the show, and we'll see what's going on from there. So take care.